So that then is Jamie Bellinger and Colours. He is with us here in the studio. Jamie, lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit then about Colours. How did that come together as a track?
It's funny hearing that back, actually. I don't listen back to my music as much as I probably should. I'm always looking forward. But that must be 2 or 3 years ago now, and that was the first track Tom picked up and played here on Introducing, featuring the great vocals from Archangel, who's also a producer. And yeah, I think when that got picked up here on Introducing, that sort of gave me a bit of a kickstarter to thinking, I think I want this to be a bit more than a hobby. Yeah. Now started taking it a bit more seriously, and started getting more music played here. So give us a little insight then into how that track came together. So a bit of a breakthrough for you, not least in terms of your thinking and what you maybe wanted to do with your music. How did it all come about? Yeah, well, I've always liked collaborating with singers. I tend to contact them online, people whose music I've heard on YouTube or whatever, get in touch, see if they're interested. And if they are, talk about ideas. I usually lay down my idea for the track first, send it to them and see what they can do. Do you sing yourself? I don't know, unfortunately. I wish I could, but that's my downfall. So when it comes to doing the vocals, the people that you get in, do you give them a bit of creative free rein? Yeah, I sometimes write the melody and lyrics myself, sometimes leave it to them, depending on what sort of thing they've done before. And yeah, just sort of discuss ideas, bounce off each other and see what we can come up with, really. Now, I've described you, while building you up as a producer, as an electronics whiz kid. We came up with lots of different phrases. How do you describe yourself? I liked wizard, actually. That was a good one. Yeah, producer, I think, covers it. I'm the typical bedroom producer, actually. I just, everything's done in my room. I've got my computer with Logic and 2 speakers, and that's it, really. And that's what I love about electronic music, really. You don't need any high-tech equipment or mics, or it's all right there on your computer, and you've got pretty much free reign to create any idea that comes into your head. Do you never hanker after a real instrument? Do you never think, occasionally, I tell you what, it's a nice sound, but I wish it was real? Yeah, I have incorporated very occasionally real instruments, because I play a few instruments for myself. But it's amazing what you can recreate digitally now. And also, one of the big bonuses is the amount of control you can have over what you're doing compared with using, and it's a right old faff, isn't it? Doing traditional recording and recording instruments, that to get them sounding as you want is a lot of work. But when you have it all on your computer, you can just keep melding things to your heart's content. I mean, recording acoustically, there's so many variables, so many things that can go wrong. But it's just so easy digitally these days. And if you want to recreate that acoustic sound, you can do that. It's not quite the same still, but it's pretty close. Okay, the next track that we're going to play by yourself is called Beneath the Skin. Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah, again, this is one of these collaborations with a vocalist where I got in touch online. This is someone I already knew from school, Andy Sharp, who's got a great voice. So I sent him my idea for the melody and lyrics that I'd written myself with this one, unlike Colours. And yeah, he came back with the goods. Okay, well, let's hear what it sounds like. This is Jamie Bellinger. He's in the studio with us. He's a Cambridge-based producer, musical wizard, and and this is Beneath the Skin. Show
darkness in your heart, creeping like the dark. Shadows run like waves across the sand. Together we will set them free. We could be the spark. Come now, just take my hand.
So that then is Jamie Bellinger and Beneath the Skin, with a little bit more of a tail on it than I thought would be the case. Should have looked at the length of the track, really, shouldn't I? Tell us a bit more about that one then, Jamie. Where does that sort of fit into your canon? Yeah. So the first track we played was an early one. Is this a more recent effort?
Yeah, this was just late last year. Something a bit different from my usual. I tend to do sort of electro, house, that kind of style. But I thought I'd try the liquid drum and bass kind of feel for a change, which I think turned out quite well.
Yeah, I don't think we can have too many complaints. No, it's sounding great. And looking through your bio, what you do now in terms of your music is not all that similar to how you started out. You started out quite traditionally, as it were.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as I say, I started out on acoustic instruments. I learned the saxophone at a young age. Later picked up the drums and the keyboard, piano. So, yeah, to start with, I was recording mostly acoustically, sort of pop rock type stuff.
And you're being quite modest as well, because you played the saxophone to quite... It wasn't just like you dabbled a bit, you were pretty good.
Yeah, I've reached grade 8 standard.
Which is, you can't go any higher, can you?
Yeah, that's right. And, yeah, I haven't played it recently as much as I should, really. I need to start picking it up again. But in my early teens... was when I first started being interested in the electronic stuff. Started producing trance music mostly, actually, having listened to Paul van Dyk and Armin van Buuren and that sort of stuff in my early teens. So yeah, I started off in trance, and towards the end of my teens started getting into the house kind of vibe.
And did you develop that in the way that most artists do, where you took people that you liked and incorporated certain motifs that they used, and then gradually began to find your own voice?
Yeah, I think we all do that to some extent. I loved trance because of its how melodic it was, really, and the progressive feel of it. And yeah, I mean, we're all inspired by the artists that we listen to, I think. So picked up certain traits, but more recently I've been trying to sort of branch out into my own personal style.
And where do you develop, how do you develop what you're doing at the moment? What's the logical progression from making these tracks as you are at the moment to taking them to a wider audience? How does that process work? What could you hope to achieve?
Well, BBC Introducing's been helping a lot with that, with getting my name out there, and getting a wider audience. And YouTube actually is a very useful tool. as a music player, but also you attract subscribers, you build up a following, you know, and people comment and like and share, and so social media in general has been a big part of it, and I'm hoping to utilise that more and more.
Yeah, as a pipe dream, then where would you like to get to? What would be the ultimate goal?
Yeah, well, you know, ideally the dream is making a living from it, of course, and yeah, getting wider attention, people enjoying the music is the ultimate goal, on a wider scale, and yeah, people enjoying it is what I do it for, really. Yeah,
the impact of social media on new music has been a really strange one, hasn't it? And YouTube and the internet as a whole, because clearly there's this issue with free downloads and artists it's not as easy to get the money that you should get for what you do, because obviously the internet makes it so easy to get hold of music. People don't tend to buy it in traditional formats anyway, but equally you mentioned some of the benefits that actually when you're just starting out, it's a great way, if you've got YouTube, you've got Twitter or whatever, to get in touch with people and to get people listening to what you do.
Yeah, that's right. I think the piracy issue's fortunately less of a problem for less known artists. People seem to be more willing to support unsigned sort of.
Do you think people feel
artists.
A bit guilty, like you two?
Yeah, I think so.
Bono is not going to miss if I don't pay £10 for the latest record but illegally download it. Bono is not going to be shedding a tear. He's not going to notice. Whereas probably people feel that it's a bit rude when people are just starting out. So. Yeah. BBC introducing Cambridgeshire. We are, of course, joined in the studio by Jamie Bellinger, local producer, electronics wizard, whiz kid, just general all-round computer bod. If you've got a computer and you want it to make some sounds, he is probably your man. Now, we've played a couple of your tracks. We're going to play another one in just a second. But if people are listening to this and they want to find out more, do you have a website? Do you have a Twitter feed? Where can people get all of that info?
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter at Jamie Bellinger. You can search Facebook for Bellinger and I should come up. And, of course, all my music goes on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Bellinger Official. And there's links to iTunes and Amazon and so on there.
Great. And any plans then to make any albums, anything bigger coming in the pipeline?
Yeah, that's something I'm starting to think about now. It's been singles up to this point. But, yeah, an album is in the pipeline, I think.
Coming soon. Watch this space. Have you got any ideas as to how you might construct it? Are you already eyeing a few people that you'd like to work with? Have you formulated?
Yeah, well, listening to introducing here in Cambridgeshire the last few weeks, I find is a good way to pick up on local singers, rappers, people to collaborate with. So, yeah, that's possible, certainly.
Presumably when you get in touch with people, they're mostly pretty chuffed to be offered the chance to do something like this. It's quite an honour, isn't it, if someone phones you up and says, hey, I really like your vocals, do you want to do something with my track?
Yeah, that's right. And if they're then willing to do it, that's an honour for me, really, because it shows that they've listened and liked my music and want to be part of it. So it goes both ways, yeah. Yeah,
and of course there's some real talent out there as well. You haven't thought of putting any saxophone on your records anytime soon then?
Might happen at some point. We'll see.
Have you thought of broadening out from what you do at all? Because you're studying, aren't you, at Anglia Ruskin? Right. Can you take this elsewhere other than the music? Can you use this expertise and work with other people? Have you got any thoughts in that direction?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, in terms of career after I leave uni, there's two paths really. It's either the music or going down a sort of social media route, which I'm interested in. So, yeah, depending how the music goes the next few months, we'll decide that.
Yeah, and what you're doing at the moment, of course, helps you out in both of those.
Yeah, that's right.
Both of those aspects. Tell us then about the final track we're going to play tonight. It's called Time.
Yes, this is the most recent one, which I produced just a couple of weeks ago and is out very soon on iTunes and Amazon.
And this is what it sounds like.